everybody, I'm Jenna Sharpe, and we are going to talk all things Red Rising with Stuart Crank. But before I get to Stuart, just a few housekeeping rules. The first one is there probably will be swearing, so yeah, and spoilers likely. So if you haven't read too far into the series, then yeah, caution. And
Mm.
also, um, we are here as our own unique selves and not representatives of graphic audio. So all views are entirely our own. But yeah, without further ado, lo, husband.
Hello, wife. How goes it?
It's very good. Yes, it's a hot one here in the UK.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
it's
excited
absolutely
to catch up with you.
sweltering. Yeah, it's nice to see you too. It's been a while since we've
It
actually
has.
hung out for a while. I think the last time was it last March?
It was in LA, yeah, for the
In
for
LA,
the
yeah.
Audis, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny because we probably don't live that far away from each other, and yet we went all the way to LA to meet each other.
Yeah, to actually finally meet.
Not very good for the environment,
No,
but
terrible.
but yeah, we have people have sent us a few questions to
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I thought we'd play a few little fun games as well. What should we start with? Uh,
I think questions. Yeah.
Questions. Cool. Um, so quite a few people asked this same question.
Okay.
um, Let me just get that. So Caroline and Dominic both want to know what's your favorite quote or line from your character, or maybe it's another character.
Maybe it's another character. Um, I was thinking about this the other day as we were starting to prep, but
Yeah,
the
preemptive
one that sticks
questions.
out is from um, Morning Star
Hmm.
from book three, and it's when um, Darrow, the Howlers, and the rest of the army are storming the Morning. Well, it becomes the Morning Star. It's Rogue's ship, and he just utters a phrase, and it's "Yo, close your eyes" or something, because he doesn't want her to sort of witness the the ongoing kind of his personal transformation back into the kind of Reaper and just the utter devastation that's about to unfold on the decks of this four beleaguered spaceships. That's the one that immediately stuck out to me.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but there are other things as well that are also like great. Perhaps it sort of touches on moments, so we might go back to it. But way back in book one, and it's in the passage, and it's Julian's line. It's something about my I need this, Darrow. My family's everybody's been through. I need this, and that sort of desperation. I thought in the moment was kind of it's a sort of tipping point into the kind of horror of the rest of that scene.
Yeah,
Well,
that is a dark moment for sure.
yeah, I think the first dark. Well, not the first dark moment. There's a hanging. Spoilers. But I mean, if you haven't read the first one at this
Yeah,
point,
yeah, you really
heartily
shouldn't be
recommend
here.
you
Go
do.
away.
Yeah, you really
Slag
should
off.
be. You stop now and go back and listen to a few, and then come in. But I guess it's the first kind of moment where, at least for my character, and I guess for yours, in a separate chamber somewhere,
Yeah.
is starting to come to grips with the true horror of what's going to be expected of them, and also for Darrow personally, up until that, it's been almost a kind of it's been a fun jaunt, for lack of a better kind of. It's been nervous and tense at
I mean,
times,
he
but
had a makeover. I mean,
yeah, he's had a huge makeover. He's been through absolute agony. Um, uh,
no,
but
that's a
it's
good
all kind
choice.
of been removed and happened to him. But this is the first time when he really has to start making a deliberate choice to how far he's going to go with the deception at the time.
Yeah, to do or
And
die, literally.
yeah, to do or die, and to kill or be killed, I guess. And it's the sort of first thing. So that sticks in my head as well. What about you? What's your favorite one?
Favorite quote or line?
Favorite favorite quote
Basically,
online?
anytime I get to say "gory damn," I just love
Oh, great.
saying
Yeah.
"gory damn." And my sister's read the books now, and we both just use Red Rising language all the time now. We're like
Lovely.
prime, gory damn, slag it, bloody damn,
Slag it's a
everything.
great one.
Slag it, yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
slag it.
Um, but there's Mustang has some great lines. This horse rides for no man, which is in
Always
Dark
great.
Age.
Yeah, it's
Um,
giving this lady's not for turning.
yes.
It's really good.
And I love that Pierce like deliberately makes it clear how impressive Darrow's manhood is. It's very important that we know
Oh,
this.
indeed.
It's very
Yeah,
just
it's very important that everybody knows
yeah.
our
And
geezer's qualified, shall we
Mickey
say?
was very, very proud of it too, I think, wasn't he? The carver.
Yes, it was.
Um, there's in Red Rising, you are the wolf that howls and bites. I am the Mustang that nuzzles the hand, which is kind of true, and it sort of shows their partnership, doesn't it? Of,
Yeah.
yin and yang. They both complement each other really well. That's what I really like as well. Stay for me, stay for what might be. Simple, but pretty.
Yeah, it is actually. It's a really nice line. It's really tough, isn't it, when you think back, because it must be close to sort of 50 hours of audio, 50, 60 hours of audio now at this point that we've
Mm.
sort of
Well,
collectively
definitely a lot
recorded.
more for you than me.
Sure, certainly in the first three, because obviously I did all the narration for those three.
Mm.
Um, but even the task of sitting through, because I don't know, did you read them originally as part of when you first were cast, or did you listen to them?
Well, that was one of our questions actually
Oh, was it?
from Dave Fernandez, the producer and director of Red
Ah,
Rising. I did ask him. I did say to him, "Does he want to join us?" And he was like, "He wants to prefer to stay,
David
stealthy in
likes to
this
be anonymous.
in the background." But he says, "Were you aware of the series before you started on this production? If yes, how and when did you discover it?" I wasn't aware of the series.
No.
Did you have to audition for Darrow? I had to audition for, well, it's a long story for me because I wasn't originally asked to audition for Virginia. I was asked to audition for EO. And so
Wow.
I got sent the wiki fandom for Red Rising. And
Sure,
that
yeah.
sort of was my first foray into the world of Red Rising. And even then, I was really fascinated because I
Mm.
saw this like sci-fi futuristic setting, but with the sort of ancient Rome kind of nods to the
Uh,
classical literature. And
Imperial kind of aesthetic.
mm,
Yeah,
and
really
even then, I was really intrigued. So I think even if I hadn't have got a part, I think
still would have gone in.
might still have read the books actually.
You're going to love this because, in much the same way that you originally read for EO, I originally read for Adrius for the Jackal.
Oh, I did. I
Mm.
think I knew that. I
Did you sort of
think
know this story?
because
Yeah,
you swapped roles. The guy that was supposed to be Darrow, I think, ended up being Adrius, and you,
yeah,
yeah,
he did.
which actually worked out quite well, I think.
It worked out really well because he's called Andrew Spooner, and
Yes, I've met him a few times. We actually met in a
yeah,
studio, and I stupidly didn't get a selfie with him. I was like, oh, I could have got a selfie with my twin. But
your
yeah,
twin,
he
your
works all the
brother.
time in video games. So yeah,
Yeah,
I see him a lot.
fantastic. He used to do a load of puppetry. He used to work with Jim
Yeah,
Henson.
he's a puppet. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
originally. But anyway, he's
Which kind of
fantastic.
is slightly creepy, just like Adrius.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think puppets
yeah.
are creepy. No offense to all you
Inherently,
puppeteers out there. I
yeah.
just find them creepy.
You do is a horrible dark art, and you should be ashamed.
It's a dark art
Um,
like mime.
yeah, yeah, should be awful. But yeah, no, I'd originally got all the sides for the Jackal, and yeah, and like you say, in a bizarre twist of fate, um, Andrew, for whatever reason, couldn't do it.
Mm.
So Dave, producer Dave, does his best work in the shadows. Uh, Kindly asked if I wouldn't mind because I'd sort of like you been given the wiki, and like you, I'd sort of gone, oh, what's this? And
Mm.
sort of had a sort of peek through it all. And I think I was cast to be the Jackal, and then so
And
obviously
I
I
was cast
started,
to be a Eo. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
and
all.
then I started listening to it,
Mm.
and the more I sort of listened to it, I was like, oh, you know what, this character Darrow is pretty good actually. I'm really enjoying this kind of internal monologue kind of thing. So I just mentioned it to Dave on an email kind of thing. And then about a
Oh my
week
God, I did
later,
the same thing with
yeah,
Mustang. I basically asked, can I play Mustang? Can I
and I
audition
play
for Mustang? And he was like, no, because it had already been cast. And I was like, oh, okay.
so good. Ah, damn. But yeah,
That's
and
so
the most
weird.
twist of face. Yeah, and
You wanted Darrow and I wanted Mustang. And the
and
universe somehow
provided. And here
provided.
we are. It's lovely. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess in answer to the original question, I don't think either of us were aware of
No.
it, but once um we'd sort of got cast and stuff, looked at the wikis, and then I got hooked on Tim's narration,
Hmm.
frankly, for like weeks at a time kind of
Oh, so
thing.
you did listen to the narration before you, well, I was going to
Yeah,
ask you that, like whether you deliberately didn't listen to it or if you,
I did, just to sort of get a sense of the book and
yeah.
sort of the sense of at least number one I did. I listened to it um, to get a sense of the sort of scale of the character transformation that would have to take place because I knew without looking at it from the brief bits that David described, he was um, one character pretending to be something else.
Hmm.
And I wanted to see how far that trajectory was going to go. Was it going to all be a big, huge reveal, sort of at the end of like an Act Two kind of thing for an Act Three resurgence, or so? I just wanted to literally get a handle on
Yeah.
at least that one self-contained bit of the story before it branched out. So I listened,
Mm.
and then ended up as a fan. Yeah,
Yes. And you're a howler now, like me. Yeah.
absolutely. I don't have a designated number though. I haven't asked
No,
the.
Howler. I don't know. Is Howler 3 taken yet?
I was thinking
Don't
maybe
know.
Howler 3 because this would be Howler 1. Tim would surely be Howler 2.
Oh,
And then
Severo's Howler 2, but yeah, like,
that's, of course,
but
yeah, that's
in outside the book world, yeah, I don't know who Howler 2
size.
would be. We'll have to have a competition for it.
We'll have to have a competition. Yeah.
But yeah, Dave also asked us, has there been a time in when someone's in your normal life has recognized or discovered that you're involved in Red Rising?
Yes. All the time.
Oh, really? Because that never
It
happens to
happens.
me.
It happens quite a lot.
Oh,
More than I'd think. So I guess you must get messages all the time, like a couple of
I get
messages.
messages, but like none of
Yeah,
my friends have been
sure.
are into the book, so
I guess what happens
although
is
they are
that
now because I've made them. I made them read
I guess what happens is I meet people out in the world doing whatever, working on
See, there's
whatever
my problem. I
projects
don't
kind
go
of
out in the
thing.
world and meet
That's
people.
that's
I just
that's
stay and
it
record in my
right there
box.
in the box. But whenever we're not in boxes, I'll go out and invariably the question goes, "What do you do?"
So what have you
So
been in? That question that all actors hate.
always comes up. So what do you do? What have you been in? So I say, oh, I predominantly because I predominantly you do a lot more video game work as well and other kinds of styles of voiceover. But predominantly I do a lot of audiobooks.
Mhm.
So I often say, oh, I'm an audiobook narrator, and they go, wow. So what kind of stuff have you done? So then I list off a couple of sort of recent ones and always go, oh, and I do this one with graphic audio called Red Rising. And then at that point, you either get, huh? Or you get, whoa,
Oh my
what?
God, that's so cool.
What? Oh my God. And it's happened at least 5 or 6 times now this year alone, kind of
Oh,
thing.
gory, damn, that never happens to me.
Oh, and they go, who are you? And they go, oh, I'm playing Darrow. Darrow? But he's, and then I do the accent, and they're like, oh.
Ah, you do a
So
very
yeah,
good Irish accent. I would have been convinced that you were, and I'm part Irish myself, so
oh,
that's a compliment.
thank you very much.
Mm.
Mm,
No, that's not happened to me, but I have lent the books out to my friends.
mm.
I'm like, have you heard of the Church of the Rising and our Lord and Saviour Darrow Au Andromedus? Please take this book. And half the time they don't give it back to me, so I keep buying. If I
That's quite
see them in the second-hand shops or charity shops, I always buy one to keep my stash up. And yeah,
yeah,
I lent
sure,
one to my
advice
plumber
time.
as well. Like that was random, just yeah. So everybody must become a howler now.
Everyone's part of the family. You're part of the ship. You're part of the crew.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's wonderful. But the messages are always lovely, aren't they? Whenever you get them sort of on social media
Yes.
and
Oh
things,
yeah.
like would say that about this particular fandom. It's always so nice. It tends to be hi. Just been listening whilst on a dog walk.
Hmm.
Absolutely loved it.
On the
Keep up the good
treadmill
kind of work
in
on
the
the
gym.
treadmill, all that sort of stuff. And they always are so lovely and nice. And it always makes my day when I get like a message like that. And I'm sure you
It
feel the same.
does. It cheers you up because like this business is hard and it's a lot of
Yeah.
rejection and a lot of waiting for the next job, hoping that there will be a next job.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. And
somehow
a lot
people
of
haven't
them,
discovered that you're terrible at your job and you'll never work again. But yeah,
oh God, yeah. that
It, it
imposter
it does,
syndrome.
it really does make your day. And
Mm,
I've even had beautiful pieces of art sent to me as well, fan art. Yeah, so it means a lot to us. Speaking
yeah.
of which, there was a chap who
Yes.
asked us a question and paid us a compliment, so he'll go
Ah,
first. Um,
lovely.
where were we? Oh, did I not? Oh, this is embarrassing. Oh, here we go. Pappy said, "What type of headspace do you all put yourselves in when you narrate these books? There's quite a few gruesome and emotional scenes. Love you guys in this. Thank you both for the experience you all have brought to my ears." Oh, thank you very much, Pappy.
Oh,
You're welcome.
what,
But yeah, you're not
what's
wrong. Gruesome, emotional.
God? Yeah. I mean, just the one that I just mentioned. Two
The
teenage boys
passage.
beating each other's to death in the passage,
Mm.
and that's
And what
about
gets me is with Pax Autalmanus, they gave him a little girl, didn't they, in the passage to kill.
yeah, yeah, and that's
Sad.
horrid. Yeah, there's some Pierce has got a lot to answer for,
Yeah, he really
and he
does.
will get his comeuppance in this life or the next. But I guess it's true of any kind of creative work when you have particularly gruesome or horrible scenes. You've always got to come at your character with um, love and empathy, and you've got to love them and think that they're the best thing in the room or best thing since sliced bread, regardless of what they're doing um,
hmm That's
to
true.
what
Like,
or
even when
to
you're playing
whom.
an evil character, like they don't
Yeah,
think they're evil, do they? Everyone's the
no,
hero
of
in their own
course,
story, right? So,
couldn't
yeah.
function. No, everybody walks around thinking they're their own hero, like you say. Um,
Main character syndrome, that's what the young people call it, isn't
oh,
it? We've all
main
got
character syndrome.
main character
We've all
syndrome.
got main character syndrome. But I guess you have to sort of take it on a scene by scene basis as well. And you've got to sort of trust in the producer director, usually Dave,
hmm
um, to sort of have his eye on the overarching sort of balance and dynamics and flow of the scenes
Yeah.
to sort of
Because
make sure that yeah, people aren't over
going too
overacting in
big
one
or not,
scene
yeah.
or
Because
going
he
too big or too
knows
small.
probably in his mind what music and sound effects he's going to put in the background, but we
Yeah.
don't have a clue what
No,
he's going to do with it.
no.
Tell me about what it was like to record that bit at the start of Morning Star when you're in Adrius's
Oh,
temple
in the box.
in the
Oh,
box, because that was
so,
hard for me to listen to in a good way, like because you were just yeah,
so
it was hard to
for
listen.
context, then, for people who aren't yet aware, and if you aren't aware, again, spoilers, you should be going, stop here, to about 5 minutes from now. Um, so basically, at the very um, start of this that particular book, Darrow has been imprisoned in a kind of meter by meter square box underneath the Jackal's dining table or in a dining room. Anyway,
I think
he's
it is the
underneath.
dining table,
Is the
but yeah,
dining room? Yeah,
yeah.
he's underneath the dining table. So
The
he's
jackal
in
being my evil twin.
indeed. So he's underneath the Jackal's floorboards essentially,
Mm.
being fed through a tube in complete isolation and kind of sensory deprivation. And of course, anyone um, would go mad, and he sort of cracks a couple of weeks into it and starts talking to himself in various languages, dead and living. Uh, Almost like sort of fractures his sort of psyche and personality. And I
Mm.
guess that's the one time I think when you are allowed to break that kind of general approach to work where you have to love yourself as a character. Um, because there's a lot of lines where I'm kind of putting the boot into myself and
Yeah.
sort of really treating myself quite horribly and saying a lot of despicable things about myself and my choices.
Mm.
So at the core of it, it's almost like you're playing um, two or three characters really when you're doing a scene like that. So you've got yourself and your original character with the sort of kernel of your sanity, I guess. And then I almost treat it like fracturing different emotions, and the character is embodied by one particular emotion. Is the way I get through it. The best way of sort of describing it visually would be like, have you ever seen Pixar's Inside Out?
Yes.
with the sort of control rooms going on in people's heads, and there's
Yeah.
like five different emotions. So if you sort of split your character in those, and you take a version of Darrow, say, that is completely embodied with rage and anger, and you take that sort of one, and then you split off another one that is completely dominated by fear, and how would that version of him sound if everything was sort of done like that? And you sort of break it apart as many times as you need to in order to create all these different contrasting voices to go on top of each other.
Mm.
So I think that was kind of my uh, creative approach. Sounds incredibly actory,
Yes.
but
What's your
sort of
approach? Are you method? Do you
the
what do you do to
but
prepare?
that was
Yeah.
certainly the kind of way I approached doing that particular scene.
Not too method, I hope. Oh,
No,
you
God,
mean
no.
like the previous
Yeah,
thing
in
that you said. Yeah.
preparation, I sat in the booth with the lights off for 3 days. No,
Oh
Virginia
gosh.
has a
Well,
fair
it turned
share
out
of
very,
different.
very, very well. So
Yeah.
yes.
Have you oh gosh, I don't want to spoil it yet, but
Oh, if it's
you've
dark
been
age, you can, yeah. Oh.
yeah, it's Dark Age. Have you been you get overthrown in Dark Age, don't you?
Hmm?
You get sort of there's a popular revolt
Oh, the Day
in
of Red
Dark Age.
Doves,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm not looking
yeah,
forward
David.
to that. Not
Yeah,
looking
no,
forward to
you've
that
got that one
at
coming up.
all.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
because that's presents emotional challenges, obviously, but also physical because you're in a big space. And at
Yeah.
one point, people are lifting me up. So I don't know
Mm,
how, I still don't know how I'm going to approach that with in terms
mm.
of the vocal challenges, because obviously we're in a little tiny booth. So
Yeah,
trying to
you
make
should.
it, yeah, yeah, no
That's a
idea
good
what,
one.
yeah.
What bit are you looking forward to? Because we haven't, again, to sort of go behind the curtain, we haven't started actually recording any of
No,
Dark Age yet at this point in time. So, what are you looking forward to? Is there
getting
any
my own
particular moments?
POV.
Oh,
Get my own,
yes, with the
yeah,
narrating.
it's
Mm,
exciting because that's your world, like audiobook narration. It's not really something that
indeed.
I've done a lot of, so I'll probably be coming to you for some advice. But what's exciting about that, I think, is well, so far we've only ever seen Mustang through other people's eyes,
Yeah.
and I think she's very good at being all things to all people. Or she's, I mean, she admits herself she's quite manipulative, and in the way that she talks to people. Whereas this will be the first time that we actually see, her unfiltered self and what she actually thinks in a particular given situation.
Yeah.
And her POV is like it's beautifully written, as the whole book
Mm,
is beautifully written, but it's also really funny. Like she has her sense of humor really comes out and her cynicism and stuff. So I'm looking forward to
yeah.
playing
That's
with
lovely
that.
to that's lovely because like you say, you've spent the majority of these books being looked at through it's my
Mostly your
perspective, really.
eyes, yeah,
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 mostly my
yeah.
perspective. So it's lovely to get um, her in the monologue going. And yeah, the sense of humor is something really nice because it doesn't happen and doesn't come up all that often in the series.
No,
Jokes are
I
few and
love
far
those
between.
moments though. Like I've been
Yeah.
listening to part two of Iron which is out this week. Um, it was out Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
Wednesday night.
There was just a funny moment that just made me laugh out loud with it's in Lyria's and her valets are all like at Quicksilver's birthday party, and one of the valets is getting a massage from the like six-fingered robot with four hands, and it just cracked me up just the way that he was talking to the robot. And it's just little moments like that that are
Yeah.
spattered throughout, and that just yeah, you need that comic relief. We get a lot of comic relief through Cavax, who I absolutely
Yes,
adore.
that's true. Yes,
One of
he's
my favorite
fantastic.
characters, but
And on the flip side of that, you get a lot of comic relief through
Severo as well.
Severo and who I'm thinking of the Minotaur.
Oh,
Uh,
Apollonius, yeah.
Apollonius, you get a lot of unintentional humor through Apollonius, I think, and,
Mm.
and his relationship to Darrow, because it is at times quite flirtatious. I
Yes.
think there's
Those
like a sort
Valley Wraths, those,
indeed,
well, they are
he,
naughty boys.
indeed, but so I think there's a lot of kind of because on the one hand, there's the kind of uh the relationship where it's two guys, and as big as Darrow is, Apollonius is a giant of a man, almost kind of Cavax like, just
Mm.
an absolute brute of
A unit.
strength, a unit of a man. So there's that kind of relationship they have there. but it doesn't play out in a strictly kind of physically confrontation kind of sense. It plays out on this almost kind of subtextual, intellectual kind of duel. And Apollonius doesn't just use his size and um, yeah, just kind of brute strength to kind of gain the upper hand. He uses all of these other
He's very
insinuating techniques,
manipulative
which I
as well.
love. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
incredible. A really, really lovely character, and I love how he's introduced. Um, yeah, because he's introduced Nine Gold. Yeah,
yeah. They go down to deep grave and
yeah,
fish
indeed.
him out from the sea.
I love how he's introduced. That whole section, I think, is one of my favorite bits from the book.
Yeah. I
Really
can
good.
imagine, people are very excited about a live action adaptation. I can see that as a
Yes.
video game, like infiltrating the.
Mm,
There's so
yeah.
many scenes in Red Rising that play out in my mind like a video game level, and that was
Yeah.
one of them going down to
It's a
break
tough
in.
thing to adapt it because I wouldn't know how you would go about it because a live
Mm,
action one would be amazing to see, but just the sheer amount of things that would need to fall into place to make something like that happen. Because it's a space opera. It would be astronomical to produce,
yeah, going to need a
cost
hell of a
wise.
budget, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
to
why
do
a
it
lot of people
justice
want
as
to
well.
do the animation route because they think
I
that would
like an
be.
animation, yeah. I think an
Because then
animation
we
does
can
look
still be in it. We can be
because we can
voice
still have
singers
a
in it.
shot of doing the voices, yeah.
That
Mm.
was one of the questions actually. If you were, if there was a movie, no, if you weren't playing Darrow, who would you like to play next?
Oh, right. There's a couple of great characters that I've always liked. So, um, I always like, and who I imagine I would get as like a cameo, as a little wink and a nod, should there ever be a live action. I would want to be one of the older Reds in the mine in
I
Red
can see you
Rising.
as a red, totally.
Yeah, quite easily. I would
Yes,
love to be just like sat at a table during the Laurel Tide feast. Perfect.
doing
Absolutely
a little
ideal.
jig.
Yeah, doing a little jig. Um, I also like um, Colloway, see Charlie the Ripwing pilot.
Hmm.
He somehow he has about 5 lines in the whole thing, and yet somehow manages to be incredibly cool as
It's
a
funny
character.
you say that. I was having this exact same feeling. Like often Pierce's character is so well written that
Mm.
even if it's a character that's only on like one page, you're absolutely fascinated by them and you want to know everything about them. And going back to the deep grave thing, we meet Tongueless, the obsidian.
Yes,
The guy literally doesn't say anything. He has no lines, and yet I want to know everything about him.
I want to know
I want a
who he
spin-off
is.
series about Tongueless. And that's
Oh, how he ended up
Pierce's
there.
talent as a writer. He just
I
makes you
guess, yeah,
interested in these little characters that you only
fantastic
see.
characters.
Yeah,
So yeah,
sorry, go back to what you
oh,
were saying.
Tongueless would be great. Now I've got Tongueless as a character, thinking that would
Yeah,
be incredible.
that would be fun. Yeah,
Um,
I don't think you'll
Holloway.
pull off tongueless.
No, somehow I'm barely 6 foot. It's not a chance. The Obsidians are about 7.
Yeah.
Uh, and
I think it's a
Shane.
shame that Mustang's mother isn't in the books because I feel like I could come back and be Mustang's mother because I'm a bit old
Oh,
to be Mustang, but I could maybe be her mother when she chucks herself off the cliff. But you never really see
gosh.
that. So,
Oh gosh, that'd be
oh, are we
horrible.
already running out of time? No, actually, it's just
No,
telling
no.
me oh, it's saying running out of time, but we're not. I don't think. Are we?
It
Hmm.
says that we've got
Anyway.
about 10 minutes
Oh,
remaining.
well, I will send another Zoom link and we'll keep talking.
Wonderful. Cool way. I
Yeah,
can
time
listen.
flies. Anyway,
It
yeah,
does.
Mustang's mum.
You'd be
Yeah.
Mustang's mother.
Yeah,
Get
like they
anyone
did
else?
that with The Last of Us, didn't they? The voice actor that
Yes.
played Ellie in the game came back to play her mother in the live action.
And Troy Baker did as well because he was Joel. Troy Baker came back as, oh, now he wasn't the main villain in a series of cannibals, but I think he was the sort of second in command
Mm,
at the end
I
of the first
vaguely
book.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in it, yeah, which is a nice little nod, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like in those places, or indeed any just random gold getting blown up in an iron rain,
Yeah.
that'd be
I mean, they'll need
great.
a lot of bodies, that's for sure. All the people that
100%
die.
dropping like flies.
Yes.
Any grey, I'll be any grey you want. Totally fine.
I think Dave would make a good grey, actually. He has that
They would
military
make a
look about him, I think.
grey, yeah.
Yeah.
He's big and he's tall and he's broad.
Yeah. I think
I'm
he
in
could
love
pull
with
off a
Dave.
grey.
Maybe.
We all are.
Maybe. Are we all? He is fantastic. Um,
Yes.
yeah, they're good characters. Oh,
They are indeed.
hmm.
What other questions have we got here? Um, oh, I don't think I ever answered what my favorite scene was.
Oh yeah, go on.
Um, or what I didn't. His favorite and least favorite scene was that was a question
Ah,
from Francisco. I love the razor play fight that we have in Golden Sun in your stateroom. And I
yeah.
think I wasn't expecting to like that scene as much, but when I heard Dave's sound design with it and the Mozart playing in the background and the razors, I just thought it was a really fun, playful scene with an undercurrent of sexual innuendo, which I love. And she says that line, oh, what is it? When you're on your heels, you're a liar. On your toes, you spit truth. Now spit. I
Oh,
love that
very
bit.
nice. Again, it's on the Morning Star. I think my favorite one is it's the conversation that I have with Cassian um, in the sort of middle of.
Cassian, that's a
Well,
different franchise.
what is
Cassius.
Cassian? Cassius.
There is a
Sorry,
Cassian in another popular fantasy series, I think.
committed an
Yes.
absolute hideous.
In fact, you're probably in it, so that's probably why.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no, it's the sort of quiet drink
Oh,
with
yes.
Cassius
They have the
on the
whiskey.
sort of in his private suite. Yeah, and it's just two like they're 23 as well. This is the other thing. It always they always comport themselves like much older
Yeah, they
people.
do. That's right.
Um, but I do have to sort of take a minute and go, no, hang on a minute. He is essentially a child
Mm.
at 23. Um, and they're just having this quiet sort of reminiscence about their time sort of in the academy together.
Mm.
And
Watching the hollows. Yeah.
yeah, watching the hollows and sort of lamenting where they've ended up and
Mm.
how the divided loyalties have come out to play. And it's just such a tender little quiet point in the storm, I guess. Well, it's a necessary breath for the audience anyway,
Yeah, because shit goes down after that. That's for sure.
in a way. Um, but yeah, I like it for its particular sort of little moment
Yeah.
of quiet. I think I really like that bit.
Mm.
Um,
What about the gala scene? That's quite a popular one with the listeners. They love the gala scene.
yeah,
That's
in
good.
book with everyone. You mean the one at the end of book two when everyone's sort of
When you go
drop?
to the gala and you're almost going to blow everyone up, but then you have a fight
Ah,
with
yes,
Cassius. Yeah.
very start of the book. Yeah, no, that is a
Uh,
nice.
you
I
you
like
you you fight over me basically.
indeed. Well, because the whole thing is it starts off as I'm essentially a terrorist,
Yeah,
um,
kind of
going in
are.
there with a bomb, gonna kill everybody. So
Yeah,
I'm starting off the start of that scene, um, very very sensitive to everything, and
yeah.
yet trying desperately to be cool and calm, um, and present that kind of gentle ease and grace that everybody else in the hierarchy has at
Mm,
that sort of most. So there's this kind of constant tension when you're delivering lines in that bit, which of course all completely goes out the window when I see you and Cassius together. And it's not just the sort of fear of losing his position, which is both necessary as him being an insurgent, but also personally necessary. That there is a point where the mission becomes even more personal, I think, and I have to think back in Red Rising as to when that actually switches. But his station matters to him personally that he's managed to sort of claw his way up.
mm.
Uh, so he's also at risk of losing that.
Yes, he's going to get sold, isn't he? Like his
Yeah,
contract's being
indeed.
sold to
Yeah, he gets bought
by
out.
my evil dad.
Yeah, shunted off to some mining colony somewhere and
Mm,
forgotten about. So there's all of that sort of mixing around, and then on top of that, there is the personal pride of the woman that he loves being with somebody else, and him
mm.
desperately wanting to show up the person that she's with.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's kind of pettiness as well about the whole fight, which I also really enjoyed.
yeah. Well, that was good fun. I love all the sound effects that Dave does, and yeah, always
Mm.
elevates the scene way more than what it was in my imagination.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Uh,
what about your least favorite one to do?
um, I think obviously the scene at the end of Golden Sun in the mine is very emotionally tough.
Yeah.
And we happened to be recording on like the hottest day of the year as well. So
Mm.
by the time I'd got to that scene, my booth was probably about 30 degrees and I was sweating and
It's
there's
like
actually a
being in.
before.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in the mine. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like I was a hell diver. Method acting.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, that was tough. And I always have to remember as well that Mustang doesn't like to cry. She's not as emotional as I am. So I often have to pull myself back and like sometimes I need to seek reassurance from Dave that I'm not going too emotional with her because she is quite stoic, but usually the book is telling you, that she's crying or. But
Yeah,
yeah,
of
I always have to
course.
remember that, and that's one of the things that going back to the question about how you prepare. Um, I always look at like the ways that I'm similar to a character and the ways in which I'm different to them. And if I'm very different to the character, I sort of try and imagine what my life would have had to have been or what I would have had to have gone through in order to make me make those decisions, which is very useful when you're playing a villain because you'll quickly find actually that not that Mustang's a villain, but in other things, you quickly find that actually you almost have empathy for them, or you can see a scenario in your own life where you could have gone down a dark path.
It's a hell of an exercise in empathy.
Mm.
And it's almost like rewiring your kind of personality in a way to try and better
Well,
fit.
I think we have to be kind of like detectives and psychologists, when you're going through, you're looking for
Oh yeah.
evidence, you're looking for pieces of information that, to build that profile and,
Mm.
work out what makes the character tick, what the biggest fears are, their biggest dreams, their motivations, that whole what's my motivation actor cliche. It kind
Yeah,
of is true though. We do need to
it
know.
really does. It's
Yeah.
true on a sort of kind of macro level if you're looking at the whole sort of arc of the book, and it's true scene to scene and true line to line
Mm.
as well. You sort of there's a Stanislavski's the old uh,
Oh God, he's
teacher.
quoting Stanislavski,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh gosh, sorry. But it is true with the sort of super objectives, and then you sort of break it down and carve them into smaller and smaller things. Um, so what starts as I need to get to the shop to buy bread or whatever starts as your objective at the start of a scene. Um, and then you get sort of waylaid on the way by someone that you meet along the road who you really don't want to have a conversation with. And then suddenly every single line the objective becomes I need to finish this conversation or I need to put this person off asking another
Mm,
question kind of thing. So it's a if you start out with the huge overarching thing and then build smaller and smaller and smaller, it provides at least one way of getting in. And then as that you trust Dave, the producer, to sort of tweak and fine tune the odd delivery here and there
hmm.
uh, to get it all sounding coherent and stuff. Hell
Sounding
of a
prime. When I go into the recording with Dave, I often have a very clear idea in my head of exactly how I'm going to say the line because I think, well, obviously it's got to be said that way. I mean, how
mm.
else would you say it? But then Dave will be like, "Oh, I imagined it like this," and usually he's right. Damn it! And I'm like,
How
"Yeah, that
infuriating. Yeah.
damn it, that is
Yeah,
probably
no.
what I was going to do." And I think
There's,
everyone improves with direction, don't they? I think.
yeah, oh God, yeah. Even if it's just like a subtle little tweak kind of thing. And because I get it as well, I get the why there is a tendency, especially if you've prepped it and you've spent a lot of time with it and you love these characters and know them as much as you've got a very clear idea of them. Um, you can get a little bit defensive at times about
My
certain
character.
trades. Yeah, exactly. The mind. This is how they sound. But you
Yeah.
then it's all about trusting him or
Yeah.
them and knowing that. And also, I think it helps given that the way that all the scheduling works out. There's a good chance that three-quarters of a scene has already been recorded without you
Mm,
about a week ago, and he's already listened to it, sort of stitched a bit of it together, and knows how everybody else in the scene sounds, and knows exactly what will
mm,
play
mm.
best. and knows how to try and the skill then becomes how to translate that knowledge into a piece of direction that we can follow and he can get what he needs,
Mm.
I guess. So I try and always go, it's not me, it's what the scene needs, I
The bigger
guess.
picture, yeah. Not all
Yeah,
about
exactly.
you.
Not, not all about me. Oh yeah.
It kind
Oh
of
yeah.
is though. You're like 90% of the book, but
Certainly in the earlier books that was the case. But I
I
love
think
the
you're
fact that
still
it's opened
the
up now.
heart and soul of the book. So yeah, even in the subsequent.
If I sound good, it's because everybody else sounds brilliant and they're just making me sound better, frankly.
I think you're being very
Um,
modest. But yeah, it is a team effort. That's true. That's certainly true. There's been
and
times
I
as well where I've said a line, like I've been thinking I'm going to say the line this way, and then in the session it comes out a completely different way, and then
yeah,
you're then wondering, well, which is the right way? The spontaneous way that came out because Dave maybe fed the line to me, preceding line, in a way I wasn't expecting, and that created a more spontaneous, or was it the my original instinct I was going to go with, and then you start going down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
I guess we should say for also for context on that is that we all actually record our lines mostly separately from each other,
Yes.
which I think is the most amazing thing about the whole production process. In that it will sometimes mostly just be yourself, the actor, and the producer, Dave, in this case. But on other graphic audio projects as well, it'll be different producers. But it's just you and them together,
Yes.
and the producer will feed you all of the lines around yours and fill in any little bits of stage direction, narration bits,
Hmm.
um, and then you will provide your lines and your dialogue, and then you'll be redirected as per kind of thing. So oftentimes we don't know what everybody else has done
Nope.
or what everyone else has done until we hear the final
Yeah.
production, or we get like little snippets, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
as previews to look at. Um, so with all of this, like you're saying, the kind of is the spontaneous one the right one, or is the redirection going to be better, or
Or if we were in a room together doing the scene, would it
would it be
come out a
different?
completely different way? You
And I
just
think it
don't
would,
know.
and I think it's all
Yeah.
sort of equally valid, I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
think is the joy about it. Because I'm sure there's ways that I guess the easiest way to compare it is using Tim Gerard Reynolds, his narration. So I'm sure there's tons of times when you probably listen back to some of his um, work and some of the choices that he's made that are completely different
Mm.
from how you've decided to voice Virginia.
Hmm.
Um, because he's had it all in his head himself. Maybe he's
Yeah.
had someone else helping him direct, but again, he's
I
not.
actually deliberately didn't listen to his
Mm,
Virginia, so I don't know. I'm blissfully ignorant. But I listened to a couple of the the lady that does Mustang's POV and the audiobook because there was a sample of it. I had a quick listen to that. She was very
cool.
good, you know.
Oh,
We will do. It's a different. We're not trying to replace the audiobook. We're
absolutely
just
not.
giving
No,
people a
it's
different experience of the Red Rising
yeah,
universe.
it's so close and yet so distinct, um, a distinctly different offering, which is what I like about it. With this, it's very much it fills in some of the space left behind by a more traditional audiobook
Mm,
narration,
mm.
I think.
A lot of people say as well that graphic audio has ruined normal audiobooks for them because now they expect everything to have the full sound
Bangs
effects
and
and
whistles and stuff.
yeah, and they yeah,
The
only
trade-off, of course, is production times obviously increase.
oh
Uh,
gosh, yeah.
gosh, yeah,
That's for the
because
people listening that say, why aren't things coming out quicker? It's because Dave is doing everything, which is unusual at graphic audio.
it
He
is,
he is
yeah,
both adapting it and directing and managing the recording sessions, and he's doing the sound design. Often there are in-house sound designers at graphic audio that handle that, but Dave is doing it all himself.
totally
And
doing it
we
all.
we
And
can't clone him like can't
no,
make a
you
little
can't.
Abominadrius Dave Aboma I don't know what it
The
would be called.
bomber
Dave
Davish,
Davius.
bomber Davies. But yeah, like you say, and they aren't short
They aren't
either.
short,
That's the
no.
other thing. Because some
No.
productions
And they
are
only get
right,
longer.
yeah, and they only get bigger.
Yeah. I don't know if Dark Age is going to be 3 parts. Do you think, or 2 part? I don't know if David
Somebody,
said.
I'm not entirely sure, but I've got a feeling we're heading that way.
I think three
And
probably.
there are some absolute monster ones at Graphic Audio that are. There's one I've just recently done. Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn is
Ah.
the sort of overarching title. But the first one, the Dragonbone Chair, is definitely in 3 parts. I think there's one, I think later on, that might be split into 6 parts.
Oh gosh.
It's an absolute beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
More work for you though. We like a bit of
can't
continuous
complain.
employment.
Can't complain. But like you say, it just again, that's an awesome challenge. Do you find it a bit of a challenge to pick up where you left off, potentially like a month or two down the road? There is
Yeah.
a certain challenge in that. I guess, especially
Mm.
if it's like a part 1 and 2, like we do these. How do you sort of keep it square in your head? Because you'll potentially come out of a really tense, high stakes scene, and
Hmm.
then you've got to do
Ah,
some.
I do have a little hack I use for that. I
What's
use
that?
I use music a lot to get me into character into a particular emotional state. Because bear in mind, before I go into my Red Rising recording session, I might have just been recording 3,000 words of e-learning on,
Yeah,
diversity and inclusion in the workplace.
yeah.
You got to go
So
from
you,
that to
mm,
suddenly being Mustang in the Red Rising universe. And so what I
yeah.
do is I've got a Red Rising playlist on Spotify,
Oh,
lots of tracks that make me think of the books, but also some of the recommendations I've had from other howlers as well. And I even have specific playlists on my Spotify for emotional states. So if I need to be sad, if I need to be scary, and I find that music is just like the quickest way to shortcut into that vibe, that wavelength.
that's really interesting. Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
such
use
a
music a lot.
yeah, that's great.
Like when
It's
I'm
fantastic.
auditioning for video games as well, sometimes I'll be reading the brief and a piece of music will pop into my head and I'll be like, I'll listen to that music. And sometimes I'll even listen to it in my headphones when I audition, when I record the auditions.
Wow. Yeah, just put it on
Yeah.
really quiet and
Yeah, just
sort
really
of
quiet in the background. Just, yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's a
So,
really good way of doing it. I've never even thought about adding a sort of background sort of thing to alter my state
mm,
before I go in, but that's a great idea.
yeah, it just gets your adrenaline going as well and
I'm gonna
gets,
try
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna try that next
I
time
will
something
send
comes
you my
up.
Red Rising playlist and
Oh,
please, if
absolutely
anyone's
do.
got any tracks they recommend, send them my way. I do love discovering new music.
Mm.
Speaking of which, random aside, you have a lovely singing voice. When you sing to Mustang in the cave, like I was really shocked how good you were. You've got a lovely voice.
Oh, you can hold a tune.
You can,
I
you
think
can, you can.
I could still hold a tune, frankly,
And it's
because
a cappella as well. You can't hide behind, fancy
I don't even
auto
know where the
tune.
tune that came from. I think again, Dave just sort of sent it.
There was the Reaping song was already composed, so Dave didn't compose it.
No,
But yeah,
yes,
I don't know
he
who
must have
did.
sent me that then.
Yeah.
And I sort of listened through to it first to get the base. It wasn't like I suddenly came up with a.
And it's quite wordy. You have quite a lot of verses, whilst I'm
Oh
there
gosh,
dying.
yeah, because there must be was it 8 or 9 verses or something. It's been so long since we looked at book 1, but
When was book one? When was, like, what were
was
we
book 1.
talking? Because I have no
Oh
concept of time since COVID. I'm just like,
yeah,
was that last year? Was that the year? I'm going
definitely
to look it up.
post-pandemic. It might have been 23,
I'm going to
2023.
look it up now. I'm curious. Red Rising,
It
book
was early.
one.
It was early. It was sort of February, kind of March time. I remember that
Oh, I
because it
don't know how you
was.
remember all this stuff. I guess you're spending a lot more time. Right, yeah. March 2023.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, is that
Two
when it was
years.
released or
That was when it
recorded?
was released. So we were
Released.
recording it
Yeah.
2022, I guess. We would be
Yeah.
recording it.
Were we? Oh, yeah. Would
Yeah, because March
yeah.
probably would have been three.
Takes a long
Yeah,
time.
it does. It does.
Oh,
Let me have a look at my list of questions, which, because I restarted
yes.
my computer, has now disappeared. Let's play a game. Do you want to
Oh,
play a
yeah, sure.
game?
Yes, I do want to
Of
play.
course you do. I didn't tell you about we're doing this. This is a quick fire round.
Oh gosh,
Um,
I'll be quick.
just it's either or. I think I may have stolen this from the lovely people at Fade to Obsidian podcast, so
Ah,
can't take
yes.
credit for this. But um, first question:
Hmm.
red or gold?
Red,
Red.
red,
Okay. Yeah,
red.
that's
I do
probably
like red. Hmm.
yes. Mustang or Victra?
Mustang.
Of course, you had to say that.
I want. In moments of freak passion, I might say Victra, but my head and my heart are both going no Mustang.
Yeah, I think
Got
she's your soulmate. But if we were playing Shag, Marry, Kill, which we might do later, you probably would shag Victra, right?
oh, absolutely.
Lots of times.
Oh, probably. And then kill
And
some
marry
man,
Mustang.
of course.
Mm. I wish we saw the scene when they get married. It was mentioned, but we don't ever get
Yeah,
to sort of
thing.
there's so many I wish we could have seen that scene moments in
Yeah,
Red Rising. Um, yeah. The scenes that could have been. And I really, really hope they get some goods when they're reunited in Red God, because they haven't seen each other since Iron Gold.
yeah. Oh, it's a couple of months, maybe a year or two or something.
And
It's a
I think
heck of a
it's
long
a long time, yeah.
time.
And
Heck of
a lot of readers are like, actually we kind of are down for some smut between the two of them. Like, I
ah,
mean,
cute
it's been a
heavy
while
building.
and we want some romance and maybe a little bit of, but then we
Some of
have
the
to
good.
act that out. So then maybe we don't want that because those are the scenes that kind of cringe to record, aren't they? A bit like
they're they're very silent usually in the recording booth. We usually always just go, okay, when you're ready, we just need 5 or 6 seconds of breathing, and then
passionate sex.
passionate, passionate kissing, and off we go, kind of thing. That's that scene actually just reminded me of speaking of sort of distance and being apart. There's the one where they're on Mercury and he's walking along the beach, and I think it's credit to Pierce here. It's one of the best written descriptions of hopelessness and despair that I think I've read in years. Frankly,
Oh,
he's just sort of
I can't
completely.
remember that. I'm gonna have to read
He
it after
walks along
this.
the beach and he's completely bereft. Everybody's running out of supplies. The radiation meds are running low, so there's people succumbing to sickness. Basically, got no food, no ammunition, no batteries for any pulse fist charges, anything like that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, these kind of drop pods fall
Yes,
sky and they fall into
yes.
the shallows of the beach.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mustang is coming to save you.
it's a present from you. And it might as well be signed with a gift card kind of thing. But uh, yeah, to go from that utter sort of despair and
Desperation.
tragedy, and
Yeah.
it's sort of completely broken to the point he has no clue from a man who is always, always sort of mostly in control, always usually has a plan or a direction to head in. Sort of
Mm,
that thing where you don't follow me because I'm the strongest or because I'm the smartest. You follow me because I know where we're going.
mm.
Um, to get to that point because he has no clue whatsoever. He has no cards left to play in the hand. His bag of tricks is completely empty.
Yep.
He's just the head of a broken, dying army, and then all of a
Mm,
sudden this lifeline descends from the heavens, literally, to give him
yeah.
a fighting chance.
That's my
I
big speech as well, I think.
think it's a beautiful
Yeah.
moment, frankly.
Yeah. Oh, next question.
Yeah,
Tactus or Apollonius?
Apollonius.
Yeah. Okay.
Apollonius, without a shadow of a doubt, the man is too funny to not
Yeah.
pick.
Um, Bloody Dam or Gory Dam?
Gory damn.
Gory Dam, same. I'm surprised because you
Bloody
said you're red. You should be Bloody Dam.
Bloody damn is very fun to say.
You've got to say it in the Irish accent. Bloody Dam.
Bloody damn. But he does Gory damn is always usually uttered in a moment of incredible tension, which is
Yeah.
why I prefer saying it. Yeah.
Yeah. House Augustus or House Bologna?
Ooh. I Bologna, actually. As much as I like House Augustus, um, my arch nemesis is in it. Two of my arch nemesis are in it. Also
Yeah,
my
yeah.
wife, but the man who cut off my hand is there.
Mm,
But also I like Bologna. There's something so detached and um not ethereal quite, but sort of very, very regal and remote about the whole family, especially the matriarch.
mm,
It's something so wonderfully kind of isolated about that whole family that I just would love to see explored in its own kind of little short story. Uh,
absolutely. Yeah. Do you know
so
what? I kind of agree with you. House Augustus is kind of full of psychopaths, really, isn't it? And sociopaths,
bastards, wall to wall.
bastards. And I feel
Yeah,
like Mustang's almost like honorary House Telmanus because that's kind of where she was
yeah,
raised. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
and House Bologna as well. Like I've forgotten the name of Cassius's father. Not
There's somebody probably screaming at us in the comments.
yeah, but he's actually a pretty good dad. He's like a
Yeah,
loving father. And, yes, the Bolognas are all about the debauchery and some of them are very naughty, but they have that family bond. Like they would die for each
yeah.
other. So you kind
Beyond,
of got to
yeah, quite
respect
a
that.
noble, honourable man, I think, by all accounts.
Tiberius. Is it
Thank you.
Tiberius?
Tiberius.
So I think it might be Tiberius. Anyway,
It's been a while since he's been mentioned. Put it
yes.
up.
Yeah, he's dead anyway, I think. Like so many of our
So
favorite
many
characters.
beloved characters.
That's a
Trig,
question as well.
IP.
Oh, shall I ask that question or shall I go on to the next question here? Uh, uh, Somebody asked a question about people dying. Oh, if you could bring a character back from the dead, who would you bring back? And why is it Ragnar? No, that was me.
Why is it Ragnar? Oh gosh, Ragnar.
Ragnar.
Uh, they never deserved it.
No.
Um, just because I have a soft spot for him, uh, I have a soft spot for Ephraim as a character, so I would bring back Trig to give him
Oh, to give
the
him
end.
someone to
Yeah,
love.
to love. Um, Finally, to give him someone back.
Yes.
Poor guy is just
Yeah.
kind of beaten and so deeply cynical
Again, like
about that
Trigger's
whole.
character, you're like, oh, I like this character, and then and they're dead.
Sorry about that. He's gone. Nope.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good choice.
yeah, I bring
If
back
we're
Trig.
doing Dark Age spoilers, I found the death of Alexander pretty hard to
Yeah,
take because they were really building him up and you thought he was dead and he wasn't, and then
and then he was.
he's dead again.
So, oh,
Yeah. Oh. Do you think you're going to make it to the end of the series?
do
Do
I
you think
think I'm
I'm
going
going
to
to
make it
make
to the
it?
end of the
Yeah. Do
series?
you
I
think you're going to
think, yeah,
survive Red God?
you'll absolutely survive, Red God.
Do you think
I
so?
do. I
Oh, we're
think I'll.
running out of time again soon. We've got another.
No. Do I think I'll survive? I'm honestly not sure, and
Hmm.
I would be happy either way
Hmm.
because we've been a part of this now for 2 years and will undoubtedly be a part of it for at least another two, I'd say. And it would be, it's been a fantastic privilege, I'm sure you'll agree, to be a part of
Yeah.
it and to sort of get sort of inserted into this world like
Hmm.
this. Um, so either way, if he lives and gets a happy ending,
Oh, I
uh,
hope so.
gets to live with Pax and watch him grow up, I would love that for him. And equally, if I have to die in service of a greater ideal, or even just as a sacrifice for my son or another beloved character like Severo or Mustang, I would find that equally
Yeah.
worthy, I guess, a worthy end to.
Just make sure you take Lysander down with you, please.
Oh, with a vet, sure.
I want
But
Mustang
yeah,
to be the one that kills him
but this,
because he kind of has a crush on her, and I think,
hmm,
well, I think it would hurt him more if. She was the one that did it, not Darrow.
I guess it's another nods up to Pierce, but do you not find Lysander absolutely fascinating at times?
Yes, I do. Because there were times, and
There's
even in Lightbringer, I thought, can he turn it around? Is he redeemable? Even in Lightbringer. And no, he
and
wasn't.
even if he's not kind of redeemable, you sort of understand. I think it's an incredibly clever thing that Pierce has done to sort of create Lysander again, almost as like a second coming of Darrow. He sees himself as a
Yeah,
liberal
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
and
yeah.
as an insurgent kind of thing to sort
And
of
he's not like one of those comic book villains that's super big with magic powers.
no,
He's kind of a quietly foreboding
it's quietly foreboding,
villain,
indomitable,
smart, like
and
Mustang.
doesn't torture anybody, doesn't um really um do anything that you'd call, from his own perspective at
And
least.
yeah, until Lightbringer.
Haven't read Lightbringer yet. Maybe
Well, that's
I'm
why you need
right.
to
Sure,
read that
maybe
book. You'll change your
I haven't got
mind.
permission.
If you hate Lysander now, oh yeah,
Wait until I see
my
what
sweet
happens to
summer
him.
child.
Yeah, of course.
Uh,
With the character, of course, I'm loving to waiting to see who emerges more is the reincarnated Adrius as well.
oh yes,
Wait to see how
Abominadrius.
he develops because at the moment
He's not actually in Lightbringer that much,
is he not?
which was
He's sort of in the
disappointing
shadow.
to a lot of us because we were like, oh, we were expecting it to be him to be a big part of Lightbringer, and
Mhm.
it's
He
barely
wasn't.
mentioned.
I love
Yeah,
that though. I think that's
yeah,
quite fun because
it
that's
is.
what are you doing
What are
in the
you doing, you
meantime?
little shit?
Yeah, what's happening? What's brewing? Something bad.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, next question.
Yes.
Would you rather own a grav bike or a razor?
Oh God. I think I'd own a grav bike, you know. I think
I
I'd
think I
rather own a
would
grav
too.
bike. I think some sort of hobble bike would be
Pretty badass.
outrageously cool. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And final question. Would you rather change the paradigm or stick with the plan?
Always, always change the paradigm. Every single time. I sometimes in some moments when I've considered getting another tattoo, um,
All right.
I often teeter on the edge of either change the paradigm or just getting the letters WWDD, which would
What
shorten
would
to
what
what would
would
Darrow do? So I
like
often,
it?
I think I get those kind of two constantly going around.
Well, if you need tattoo inspiration on the Red Right list, then some people have done some amazing Red Rising
Oh God,
tattoos.
yeah,
So,
it's incredible.
yeah.
Have you ever thought about getting one?
No. No.
No, not at all.
My parents would kill me.
Of course, of course. Although the excuse,
I know I'm an adult and I don't, but no, I'm not really a tattoo person. But
fair
um,
enough.
what have we got next?
Yes.
We kind of answered a lot of these. Yeah, Warren asked what the process was like for how you portrayed Virginia and Darrow. We've kind of covered that. Did you both read the full series to understand the depths of their character, or did you have any direction you were told to go in?
Now,
Anything you want to add to that?
I only read a book at a time ahead.
Mm.
Um, because I think it helps with the kind of spontaneity that you were referring to
Mm.
either. I
Yeah,
don't want to know that 3 books from now I'm
you're dead.
going to be disemboweled or that I'm dead, or
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. I kind of don't want to know too far in advance. I mean, you can't at the moment because Red God's not done.
Mm.
But I haven't read Lightbringer specifically, kind of for this reason as well. I kind of want to finish doing Dark Age whenever we start doing it, and um, and then move on and get the next installment ready. But because also I want to sort of have, now that I'm a lover and a fan of the series as well, I also want to experience that before I then go back and look at it with a more kind of professional eye.
Mm,
I think. So
mm.
what about you? Did you read the full series or did you?
Yeah, I'm on my probably on my I've done two full read throughs now,
Wow.
so possibly on my gonna start right back at the beginning and
Start on the third
do
one.
number three. But
Oh,
no, maybe that's a bit too much. I'll wait for a while.
no, not at all.
Did we have any direction we were told to go in? No, Dave's quite good at sort of trusting us to
Yeah, he is.
follow our instincts, and yeah, so I don't think.
He doesn't tend to
Yeah.
offer kind of beyond, of course, this is the wiki. Um, this is the fan
Yeah.
wiki. Have a little poke, have a little peruse through there, sort of thing.
Mm.
But yeah, he doesn't tend to offer kind of oh, you should check out this particular film or this particular character or
No.
book or whatever. Yeah, he's very hands off,
Mm.
um, which
Yeah.
is nice.
Because people may not know, but this is his first time directing, like on this series. He'd never directed anything before. So
I
he's
didn't
done,
know that actually.
yeah, he's never, I don't think well, I could be making that up. I'm pretty sure this was his first debut as a director.
That's
So he
amazing.
did a
That's
pretty damn good job. I don't think I'd be a very good director. I think I would be like cracking that whip, be like, do it again, that was shit.
do it again, but better.
But less shit.
Yeah, it'd be good. If I could just have more kind of thing.
Just give me more. Give
What's
me
the
your
best?
soul.
What is the best line of direction that you've received from someone at Graphic Audio? Because I've got an absolute corker,
Do
and
you? Oh, I'll have a think. You tell me yours and I'll have a think. Can't
it
think of
was
anything.
on. I can't remember the series, but there was a particular bit where the character that I was playing um, was on a kind of a dirigible, like a Zeppelin type uh, sort of airship. Um, and then the line came up. It was like, right, okay, so I need you to scream, um, but I need you to scream like a steel girder has just fallen on you and broken your leg. Uh, oh, and you're also on fire. Go. It's just fantastic. I was like, wait a minute. So I'm on an airship. I'm on fire, and my leg's just been crushed. I'm sure there's
Unlucky.
a scream in my repertoire for that. The other one was on. Oh, it was the one that got nominated in the same year for the Audis, the Hellboy series.
Oh, yes,
In
yes.
it, I played a kind of like a research assistant, archaeologist type character, who was stung to death by
Spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. Spoiler alert! I was stung to death by uh, a hive of bees. Um,
That's not a good way to go.
no,
That's
but the stage direction and the direction I got was right. So now I want you to get stung by bees and die. That's like okay. So how
okay.
does that sound in my head? How do you work that out? So the way it ended up coming out was I imagine it was a slow kind of gradual process that very, very quickly ramped up because I thought, oh, one bee stings you.
Yeah.
And then like you go, ow, that hurts, kind of smack it kind of thing. And then another bee sort of gets you on the upper side of the ear, and then like three attack you at once, and then like 20, and then all of a sudden this you get eaten. Um so that
Like in
was
My Girl, that
yeah,
film traumatized me.
exactly.
Yeah.
It
I kind
it's
of want
also
to hear this scene. Like, see if you can send it to me, and I'll
I'll
put it
try and
in the
find it.
I'll put it in the edit of this.
Oh,
We can hear
just
you
right, just
dying a
fade it out.
thousand deaths.
Oh,
I can't think of anything as good as
no.
that, so I'm going to skip that
Oh,
question.
I'd step it.
Dying is hard though, like video games, like you have to die in multiple ways,
Gosh,
like
yeah.
drown, be electrocuted. Yeah. And often they'll give you like stabbed by a sword, light intensity, stabbed by a sword, medium intensity,
Ah, I
stabbed by
see.
a sword, really hard intensity.
How are we delineating this, guys? Like, what is a
Yeah.
light
It's just a
stab?
scratch
Yeah, what
versus
does that mean?
you've got a massive sword in your chest.
How
Yeah.
deep does a cut have to be before it's described as medium? It
I
must
don't
be
know.
intensity. You should standardize these things.
Yes, there should be. That's
Mm,
true. Just contact the union, get them to sort that
yeah.
out.
Dag.
Oh, right. I think we actually answered all the questions now,
Oh,
so that's pretty
wonderful.
cool. Um, we shall finish perhaps with a little game of Shag, Marry, Kill.
Oh, delightful.
Did you have some for me as
I
well?
do have one for you actually.
Okay.
Uh Shag Marry Kill.
Hmm.
Uh Colloway,
Colloway.
Holiday, Nakamura,
Oh, do them one at a time. I'm not going to remember them. Colloway.
Colloway.
Shag.
Oh, sure, Colloway. Shag Colloway. Of course, you Shag
Shag him.
Colloway. Everybody, I think everybody
Yeah.
should at least once
Shag
in their
that
life.
Midnight. Mr.
Yeah,
Midnight. He's on the Hollows as well, so it's probably quite good looking.
you can keep the
Got a
bow.
face for the Hollows.
Yeah,
My
absolutely
turn. Cassius.
fine. Oh, Shag. I think. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
too honourable as marriage material. Could never live
I
up
feel
to the.
like Iron Gold onwards, he's marriage material, but the first three
Mm,
books, he's only shag
he's
material.
only a Shag, yeah. But once
Yeah.
he's taken on that parental responsibility,
Oh yes, yes, yes.
marriage. Okay, Holiday Nakamura.
I had holiday for you as well, actually.
Oh well, played with
Uh, she's almost marriage material. I mean, she's got your six. She's got your back.
yeah.
Yeah, I might go marry
You
for
might go marry.
holiday.
Interesting. I think I'd go Shag. To be
Mm.
honest, if I
She's
had
not the
to.
prettiest of characters, is she? She's described as like
No,
having a face like a cinder block or something, or like a yeah.
beauty is in the eye of the beholder,
That's
and
true.
I just
Maybe she's
don't
got a
think
banging body.
maybe I just think in terms of like personalities with Clash, she's very very detail oriented, very dutiful,
Mm.
very
She
loyal.
wouldn't let you have any fun. She'd be like, no, it's
Oh
too
gosh,
dangerous.
that'd be I couldn't be silly, absolutely not. So a Shag, and I'd probably say thank you afterwards. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, of course. Thank you, ma'am. Um,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you, ma'am.
Pebble the Howler.
Oh, marry, because it's adorable.
But what about Clown? She's with Clown.
Yeah, but I'd kill Clown. I'd have to kill Clown.
Kill Clown.
I'd have to kill Clown.
Kill
I
Clown
don't.
to get to Pebble.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
that's
course.
harsh.
Mine, Volga.
Olga.
Ephraim's. Yeah,
Ooh.
Ephraim's
Like if
mossy.
I'm answering as me, I'd be a bit scared because she'd probably crush me. But
Mm.
she's adorable, Olga. I love her. I love that character. Mary.
Marry. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's nice, Volga.
Yeah. My turn.
Yes.
Lysander.
Ill, I'm afraid.
Yeah, yeah,
The
that's
necessary
the
evil.
only acceptable answer.
Imagine if I said anything else.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
is one.
To be like, there are Lysander apologists out there, and I will acknowledge that he had a pretty shitty childhood. Like
Oh,
with,
objectively terrible.
yeah, he was basically an abused child, and
Parents ill.
it's possible that he was even like mind fucked it by
Oh,
the is it the
yes, yes,
the chair,
the
which I end up in.
mm, thing he uses. But yeah, the parents they're raised by a very cold and pragmatic
Yeah,
grandmother, who is then killed in front of you.
in front of you
Yeah, you're
by
then
us.
by us. You're exiled for a decade to essentially become this sort of wandering mercenary living hand to hand,
hmm
only to then watch your next parent killed.
hmm
Killed. Spoilers. And then you lead a constant life of never knowing who you can quite trust or
Yeah.
whose
And
loyalty.
knowing
Oh,
that you'll never match up to Darrow, he'll always be better than you
yeah.
and with the woman that you love.
So unfortunately, it's a kill. But as
Yes, I
far
agree.
as Lysander goes, sorry, buddy, you're for the chop.
hmm
Apollonius, Shag Marry Kill.
See, obviously he's a very attractive man and
Indeed.
quite shaggable, but I think I'd have to kill him.
You'd have to kill Apollonius.
Yeah, you can't trust him. Those
No, you
those Valley
absolutely can't.
Eye Wraths, yeah, yeah.
They're treacherous. They're
Yes,
treacherous.
they are.
Oh, outside choice. Lorne, Al
Oh,
Arcos. Fence
I
master.
do like
Razor
Lorne.
master, I should
I
say.
like an older man. Um, marriage. I think he's definitely marriage material, I'd say.
Interesting.
Although people say that if he had found out Darrow's true identity, that he would have turned on Darrow because he's all about the sort of
Absolutely. He's still
traditional.
very much a traditional
Yeah.
gold. Would have put him down without a heart attack. There's a series I'd watch. The Lorne
Yeah. Well,
Arcos
lots of people have said they want a spin-off of Lorne,
of Lorne. Yeah,
The Adventures of Lorne Au Arcos.
I would support it in a heartbeat. That and the oh, what's the name of the house on Jupiter, on Jupiter's moons?
The Ra,
The Ra, yeah. And I'd
the House of Ra.
House of Ra. I'd watch the heck
Oh,
out of a House of Ra
yeah, yeah.
series, little spin-off series.
The way he describes the lifestyle that they lead
Mm.
and the sparse sort of Japanese style minimalist kind of way in which they live is so cool. And Diomedes is on my list of would you shag, marry, kill, but you've not done what Red Light Bringer, so you probably aren't as familiar with
I'm
him
not familiar with
as
Diomedes yet.
he's
So
brief. He is in Iron Gold
is he
and
gold?
Dark Age.
It's gold, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the son of Romulus Al Ra,
Okay, well I'll play it safe and
and
say
you
yeah.
become he kind of becomes your I don't know, your new buddy.
Oh,
Although adversary to buddy to yeah.
right, okay. Well,
I would 100% marry him. He's very dependable.
good act.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I want. A dependable man.
Yes. Who
Um,
doesn't?
who doesn't? No. I yeah.
Oh, I had Theodora on my list. Remember
Theodora.
Theodora?
Oh,
Your
Rose.
pink, your rose valet spy master.
Marry. I think
Yeah.
she's marriage
I mean, you
material.
can't really shag her because she's been through that
It's
as a
traumatic.
pink. The poor pinks. Yeah, they don't live a good life.
No, they don't. I don't think
And
there's
it's
any particular cast that lives a great life apart from maybe the
not
golds and the
really.
silvers.
I feel like we don't get enough, like, we don't hear enough about yellows or coppers.
Well, I suppose
Like
yellows,
yellows
doctors.
are like the doctors, which,
Yeah,
and they're very valuable because people are always getting appendages cut off and,
it seems like
they're
everyone's
always
in
having
the
to attach someone's arm every 5 seconds or
yeah,
someone's ear.
and coppers are
But yeah,
great.
we don't have any like heroic yellow characters, do we?
No,
Or we've got a few violets and no coppers apart from the ones that betray
yeah,
us.
there's the overseer of the mine in the first book,
Oh
who's a
yeah,
copper.
yeah.
Although, gun to my head, I cannot remember the man's name. Um,
Neither can I.
but yeah, House of Ra, absolutely, because I guess they're the closest to sort of ancient golds. I guess this
Hmm.
supposed race of supermen that sort of took over the planet and expanded outwards. Um, and they try and live
Yeah,
as
they picked like the most inhospitable planet
bit, I
to
guess. That's
terraform.
just about been terraformed,
Yeah.
and the kind of thing, because they're terraforming Pluto or mining Pluto or something out in the sort of wider lore of the book. There's still
Oh yeah, we don't. Yeah,
Saturn and stuff, but
Several
they
gets
aren't
sent to
further.
Pluto to do something, doesn't he, at some point? But
Yeah,
yeah,
but again, they're kind of very they're not really mentioned yet.
no.
So fingers crossed.
Mm. Awesome. Well, it's been lovely chatting to you,
It's
and
been lovely
I
chatting.
feel like we could have talked for hours on
Oh God, I could have
everything Red
dissected this.
Rising.
But yeah,
Yeah,
weeks.
maybe we could do it again sometime.
Oh well, you know what? Dark Age will be around the corner
Yes.
enough.
Well, I think we'll need a debrief after that book as well.
Gosh, yeah,
We'll,
what
we'll need
goes
to,
down?
yeah. Well,
Yes,
thank you very much, Stuart. And I'll get editing this and put it on YouTube. And yeah, if anyone's got any other questions for us or
in the meantime, yeah.
thank you to everyone that's sent me a question. So that was Caroline, Dominic, Francisco, Warren, Pappy, Dave Fernandez. Uh, yeah, thank you for
Lovely. Thank
questions.
you very much, everyone. And thank you, Jenna, as well.
Thank you.
Wonderful. We'll see
Bye
you all
bye.
soon. Bye bye.